Wind-ups, Chris Stevens.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and let me join others in wishing you and all parliamentary staff a good and restful Christmas. It's been an excellent debate. As always, Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm becoming a veteran at these events, and I was particularly struck by the number of members who raised international issues, including issues of religious persecution, and I for one, always believe that we should always discuss and raise these matters in this House. A large number of topics were dealt with, which are of course of great importance. A number of people raised issues of digital exclusion, something that we will have to deal with. The fact that Remembrance Day was not quite the occasion as it usually is, and of course Southend's city status. And can I just say to the honourable gentleman that that I am also supportive of this, but I hope in 2021 that we can reinstate flights from Southend to Glasgow. Now, how good would that be, Mr Deputy Speaker, that this year there was no mention of the rail service to Southend, so I don't know if it's improved, but perhaps a good 2021 for the good people of Southend will be to reinstate the flights from Southend to the centre of the universe. Of course, this debate was, of course, dominated by COVID, and I think a number of honourable members have said it isn't easy. And it's not easy, and it's not been easy for anyone. I was particularly pleased earlier on today when the Secretary of State, in answer to my question, had said that it is vital that we deal with the misinformation around the vaccine. We know that people have been deliberately targeted with misinformation, and I think that was important. And let's hope that the vaccine is rolled out. If for no other reason, Mr Deputy Speaker, than to see the Tartan Army descend at Wembley Stadium for the Euro Championships in what I'm sure will be an easy group game for Scotland. Archie Gemmill, but I was struck with the honourable member for Ipswich is, there's none of those great Scottish players playing for Ipswich anymore, like Joe Wark or George Burley or any of these people, and perhaps it could be more Scottish signings that will raise Ipswich back to its rightful place in English football. I'm pleased that honourable members have joined a tradition which I think I started, which is to praise, congratulate and thank the constituency office staff of all honourable members of this House. And I want to thank Dominic, Justina, Greg, Keith, Scott, Tony and the great Rosa Sally in the Glasgow South West office, and I'm quite clear that they are the best constituency office in these islands. But every single constituency office has had to deal with unprecedented pressures in the last year, and I think that they have all been a credit not just to honourable members of this House, but credit to themselves. I want to thank some constituency organisations for the work that they've done. G53 Together, Govan Help, the Biguti Food Project, the Ridgeway Dairy and Drummoyne Community Council, the Trussell Trust, Turf Youth Project, for all the work that they have done, and a particular thanks to Feeding Britain, who invested £90,000 in the constituency this year on various projects. But of course, coming back to COVID, there are a number of things the government will have to, I think, look at, and I hope it will make permanent the £20 uplift in universal credit. That will help millions of people in this country, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I hope that they will look at the Department of Work and Pensions Select Committee recommendations, looking at replacing advances with a non-repayable grant. That will also help a number of people, and I think it has been sad that the number of deductions during the COVID crisis has increased. That's money that DWP have been taken back. I think during this crisis is something that I don't think does them credit, and neither does it, and I hope they will provide some solution to, as many honourable members have said, the 3 million excluded who did not receive government support. I think it is important that there are members right across this House who believe that that has to be done. Now, a number of honourable members correctly praised the role of public sector workers during the COVID crisis, and I will be campaigning this year to ensure that there is no pay freeze for public sector workers. It is morally unjust and it's economically unsound. Public sector workers, when they get their wages, spend it in the private sector economy. And if we're serious about helping the private sector along, then I cannot see and cannot fathom how a public sector pay freeze will help that. We also need to find a solution to the 1950s born women. Mr Deputy Speaker, I know that honourable members across this House see that that's an injustice and that has to take place. And we need to really deal with and find the government who've been promising for years an employment bill so we can discuss issues around zero-hour contracts, which is prevalent, of course, in the hospitality sector. We really need to deal with those issues. I hope the governments will start bringing issues to this place. And I'm thinking particularly the new immigration rules should have been brought to this chamber for a debate and a discussion, as should have the pilot that they've put in place for asylum seeker interviews that the Home Office have decided, without any reference to this chamber, have decided to allow Serco to carry out those issues. Now, it wouldn't be a speech from myself without touching on one or two constitutional issues, Mr Deputy Speaker. And of course, just one or two, and of course we now today have another poll on Scottish independence, the 17th consecutive poll that shows yes ahead, and indeed support for the Union is now at its lowest level. Mr Deputy Speaker, I want to thank every single government backbencher for their part in that campaign. And of course, other members had mentioned Brexit. We don't know what kind of Brexit it's going to be, and it is quite ludicrous actually that we're going into recess today, not knowing if we're coming back next week or the week after, because we're in a position of deal or no deal. You know, I'm half expecting Noel Edmonds to, occupy the front bench with the telephone, seeing what the banker's going to come up with. It really is quite a shameful position, Mr Deputy Speaker, and it just leaves me to say this. I don't know, it's an old song, we'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I'm sure we'll meet again some sunny day.